Are you a business looking for a fresh new way to reach potential customers? Well, you need to get airtime on IT TV, a 24/7 streaming and on-demand TV service online and on Roku. With Roku having a potential reach of 62 million people, it's a perfect opportunity to reach potential customers through affordable commercial and infomercial spots. Visit us online today at itnetwork.tv.
Good morning and good morning. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And guess what? It's Friday's episode. And there's something I didn't tell our guests. I did not let them know, but you know, my faithful viewers, you know, there are two shows you do not want to be on. That's my Monday show and my Friday show. On my Monday show, I had way too much sleep. And on Friday's show, I haven't had enough sleep. So only the good Lord knows what I'm going to say. But then, do you ever know what I'm going to say? But I know it's going to be a fun show today, and we're going to learn, we're going to laugh, and we're going to have a good time. The most important thing is that we learn from the experts. And maybe there's someone in your network, in your circle, they're starting their new business, they're an entrepreneur, maybe they're a business owner, and they need this information to help them grow. But they won't have the information unless you go ahead and share the show with them. So send that text, send that tweet, send that message. Because as I always say, friends don't let friends miss out on the Roundtable Talk Show. So while you're sharing the show with your friends, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our very first guest, Mr. Howard Decker. He's a life and finance coach, entrepreneur, multimillionaire who specializes in teaching all those who are living paycheck to paycheck how to change their life and one day become financially free. Good morning, Howard. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, Sharifah. Just loving life.
Yes, that's the way it has to be. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Well, what I'm really passionate about at this point in my life, as you introduced me, I'm a finance coach, multimillionaire. I'm teaching people what I did to get to where I am. My dad was a tool and die worker, never made more than $35,000 a year. He taught me a program. He's now a multimillionaire, and he was a tool and die worker, regular job. And so I'm just excited. I travel the country in my RV. I got it all set up as an office. I go into small town America, and I have a course. I only charge $97 for my course. And I'm teaching a lot of people what they need to do to become financially free with a normal job. And I'm really excited about it.
What's a tool and die worker?
Tool and die worker. My dad worked for Chrysler Corporation in a factory. He worked from age 20 to 55, retired. And he had a program where you pay yourself first, save 10%, put it over here in a financial freedom plan. And I actually not only teach people how to do it, but I help them set it up. So it's pretty exciting.
I never heard of that. Now, we are going to come back to you, Howard, but I want to go ahead and introduce my next guest who's going to be with us, Mr. Kahari Washington. Kahari is the president and founder of First United Realty and Mortgage. He has founded companies in the automobile and solar space as well. First United focuses on helping other finance, purchase, and sell real estate and invest in it as well. Good morning, Kahari. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. It's good to be here with you. And like you said, yes, I am the founder and broker of First United Realty and Mortgage. We're a brokerage in California. We also offer services, commercial services, and hard money financing services in around 45 states total. We also invest in real estate. So we do a lot of real estate flipping, a lot of people call it, all over Southern California as well. In the past, I've worked in the solar industry and the automotive industry, owning businesses there as well. So I'm excited to be here to talk with everybody about whatever topics we're talking about today.
We don't know. We got to see where the conversation goes. That's the beauty of the Roundtable Talk Show. Now, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my next guest, but I have to ask, are we missing someone,
No, Vardalia Onions is actually a play on my last name, which is Vardell, and I'm a dad of 4 kids, and my wife and the 6 of us together work together. We create a children's show called Vidalia Onions, and we teach kids, things about ABCs and having manners and accepting people's differences. We use stuffed animals and puppets and animation. My 4-year-old daughter is the leader of the pack, and kind of like leads the animals on their adventure. So there is more people in my family, but a lot of us in my family have anxiety and don't like being on camera. Even I do, and I get a little bit nervous. So I'm just the one here today.
Okay. No, that's fine. Well, I was just wondering because I'm reading and it's like 6 people. And I'm like, where's the rest of the 6? Which is good because, we only have an hour. We allow you to be the spokesperson today. But tell us what you're passionate about.
I'm passionate about spending time with your family. When COVID started, I was sent home to work remotely and realized how much I was missing being with my kids and my wife. And we wanted to find something we can do together since we were home. So we're trying to find a hobby we could do. We tried all these different things, sports, and it just didn't really work out. So then at one point, someone said, no, we should make a YouTube channel. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So, we did a couple skits. We did a couple, our first skit was a play on Megan Thee Stallion's Savage. We called it I'm a Salad, and it has more than 7,300 views on YouTube. So I'm like, no, we're going to keep making these. So it kind of evolved from music parodies until now it's a show called Dogs of Town Hall and a show called Puppets of Town Hall. But we do lots of stuff on the Vidalia Onions channel for kids mostly.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it. That's a true story of having fun and just allowing, life to lead you. Is that something you do as well, Howard?
As far as what?
Have fun and allow life to lead you.
Oh, absolutely. The RV thing that I do, I have a big RV. I take my Harley, my Jeep, and I just travel the country and meet people. What I do, though, to have fun is I play pickleball every morning. I just recently got back from a 3-month trip. I was in 15 different cities, played pickleball every morning, met a ton of people. So, yeah, my passion is designed around that RV and having fun while I'm doing it. So it's really cool.
Howard, I just learned maybe a few episodes ago what pickleball was. Because I was on the show and everybody was like, we are playing pickleball. I'm like, what is pickleball? I've never heard of pickleball in my life. And they told me, and I'm not saying this is about you, Howard, but they told me you have to be of a certain age to know about pickleball.
Well, no. What they're saying is there's a bunch of old fogies playing. But it's changing. You should see. The college kids are coming out. It used to be 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80-year-olds playing. Now it's across the board. It's the fastest growing sport in America, pickleball. It's the only sport where you can show up with a paddle, put the paddle in a system, and play for hours and hours. And you're laughing, you're having fun. Anybody can do it. You don't have to be athletic. So I strongly urge to get your steps in every day, having fun, and that's pickleball.
Mike, has the family tried pickleball?
No, I heard the word, but we haven't tried that. During our phase when we were trying sports before the YouTube channel, we were trying soccer together. We were trying kickball in the backyard. We tried golf, which we hated. But no, I haven't tried that yet.
No, maybe we can get a YouTube video about pickleball.
A YouTube video of us attempting pickleball.
That would be funny.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
That would be fun.
I've played pickleball one time. It's really big, actually, in the Loma Linda area. A lot of people in the area here actually play pickleball, are really big on the sport, have done refereeing and stuff. So we got a class from somebody who loves it one time. It was fun. It was a fun game.
Yeah.
I must hang out in the wrong places. I think that's what it is. You know what it is? I figured it out. I don't leave the house. That's why. That's what happened. Why I haven't heard about pickleball.
Well, just to let you know real quickly, I have 5,451 steps in already today because I played pickleball from 7:30 to 9. So I'm pretty close to my 10,000 steps. So I'm over 5,000. So.
Is that something you just do in your own yard?
No. You go to there's pickleball centers all over the place now.
All right.
All over the place. They're building them all over the place.
I'm listening to everybody, but I got to Google that pickleball in Long Beach. Let me see if pickleball came up. Oh, they do. They have the top 10 best pickleball courts in Long Beach. Oh my God, this is
Wow.
I learned something new every day. Thank you for teaching me about pickleball.
Now here's a. You remember I said I was in 15 different cities over 3 month time in my RV. Naples, Florida has 64 pickleball courts in one place. Every time you go there, there's 100 to 200 people playing. It's so much fun.
Now, do you do any do any of you do any networking where you're out having fun and playing? Do you do networking, Howard?
Oh, absolutely. You see this card?
No, wait, we're gonna see it in a minute.
This card is with me all the time, and I'm always handing it to people. Today I went to Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast, and there was a girl standing behind me. I started a conversation with her. She's 29 years old. She sells insurance. Told her what I do, and she says, "Man, I need this stuff." I said, "Look me up." So I'm always networking, always handing out my cards.
How about you, Kahari?
Oh, so I guess you're getting out there with pickleball. I actually have been a Peloton man, so a lot of my time right now I've been spending there. When the COVID crisis first started, my wife and I decided to get a Peloton, and it's been wonderful. We actually haven't gone back to the gym. I don't know. I think we haven't been brave enough yet, and now we just love it. So I think we're just Peloton workout from home people. It doesn't give you as much of a chance to network as it used
Right.
to. You know,
Well, wait a minute. It doesn't give you any chance to network.
He's networking with his wife, Howard.
well, not necessarily. On the screen, there's a lot
Oh,
of people there.
that's
There's
right. You could do that.
high five, and
You're right. You're right. I forgot
you
about
get
that.
into it, and you can meet people from there. I know other people have met people from there. The people that I know from there are mostly people I've known outside that I'm connected to. But yeah, you do get a chance to. It has to be more intentional, definitely, than being in person.
Right.
What are some ways that you find to be intentional to network, Kahari?
Wow, to be intentional to network, well, being in real estate, and helping people buy and sell houses, we're always networking. So I don't usually say I go to a network event. I used to once in a while go to those type of events, uh, but it's always on social media and things like that where it comes up. When people ask what you do, we kind of talk about that. I love talking about ideas and things I'm interested in. And so networking naturally happens with that. And I tend to gravitate towards people who are also people who like to think about ideas and do new things and are actually interested in the real estate space a lot. So networking for me happens naturally in my day-to-day activities.
Can I ask Kahari a question?
Sure, I'm here.
Absolutely.
Sure. So you said that you flip a lot of houses. Now, do you get investors to do it? And another question is, do you do the Airbnb thing? Because that's big here in Florida right now. I haven't started doing it yet, but it's something I'm considering doing. So, go ahead.
I have done a lot of flipping. Actually, I did a lot of flipping on my own. And then I actually brought in a partner for a few flips as well. But a lot of it's self-funded. We also use some hard money sources as well. So we have the ability in my company just to go out there and do it ourselves and help others do it. And that's been the easiest way. We haven't done any syndications. We've thought about doing some syndications where we have brought in investors to actually benefit from what we're doing. With the COVID crisis also, the amount of housing on the market is severely depressed. So the opportunities to do it are less than they were before. So we haven't needed that. In the future, when opportunities start to grow again, we might bring in people for that. Now,
How
as far
about,
as
yeah, go ahead.
the
Airbnb.
Airbnb thing, yeah, as far as Airbnb, I don't do it, but I've helped people with that type of industry. People are doing wonderful that are doing it. I hope that it doesn't get oversaturated. The plus side is people are getting extremely high cap rates, extremely high cap rates in return. upwards of over 20%. The downside I'm hearing from people is the upkeep on the properties. It can be extremely hard on properties when you have people going in and out, partying in properties. That's the hard part. So a lot of it is extremely good management of your properties and making sure if you use a management company, don't get one that kind of, does a
Right.
number on you. That's the biggest thing that I'm hearing from people.
Mike, how you doing over there?
Pretty good. I don't know much about real estate. I know we just moved to a new town because we got a bigger house because my in-laws live with us. So there's actually 8 of us in the house now. And when we
That
were,
sounds like a YouTube show.
it is actually I did make a YouTube video on it, but I took it down. But when we
Whose
sold
idea
our
was
house,
that to take it down? Was that the
our house.
mother-in-law?
Oh, they're good. We don't have a problem with them. No, our old house was on the market only for 10 hours. That's it.
Oh, wow.
It was posted,
Wow.
came right away, and we had an offer within those. Actually, we had 2 offers within 10 hours of that first day.
Wow.
Because that's how much people are trying to just get or move out of New York, mostly to Connecticut. The biggest thing with my family networking is I'm really the only extrovert. So if we're at a store and I see a family with kids, sometimes I'll talk to them about the show. I'll wear T-shirts about Dogs of Town Hall. It has the puppets on it and has my 4-year-old daughter wearing ears, little dog ears in the tail. So it usually starts conversations. I do things like kids fairs and other events and pass out cards to give away free pencils and fidget spinners. And I like doing that kind of stuff. I've only done it so far in the state that I'm in, which is Connecticut. I haven't really branched out much further, except for Facebook, because I do talk a lot on a lot of parenting groups on Facebook, dad groups on Facebook, and also mental health, because like I may have said before, we have a few mental health issues in my house, and the show actually helps us overcome many of them. So I do advocate for that a lot.
How do you feel that the show helps you overcome? Because there are people who will say that there's no way to overcome it. That's the way it is. That's the way it'll always be, especially without a lot of different, therapy, medications. How does a show help someone to overcome mental health issues?
It was actually one of my kids' therapists that suggested it for anxiety. They said, no, she has social anxiety. She doesn't it's hard for her to talk to people. And they said, well, why don't you try your dad's show? Because the therapist has seen it before. She goes, I know your dad mostly doesn't show his face. He uses, puppets in his voice. And she goes, oh, I could try that. So I gave her a character where she can hold a puppet or hold a stuffed animal. I don't see her. You can hear her. And she says, well, I can be myself now because I can say what I want, without judgment. If someone says, hey, why'd you say that in the show? She could say, I didn't say that. Butters the dog said that. And it really helps her with that. And even my son with ADHD said, he doesn't like being on camera, but he volunteered to be on camera because he wanted to see what it would feel like. So he was supposed to play the Queen of Hearts. Is what he wanted to do, and he was going to have a puppet. He goes, no, do you mind if I just dress up and just be weird on the show? I said, I don't care. So he had an episode of himself. He played the Queen of Hearts. He loved it, and he shares it with all his friends, and he thought people were making fun of him and stuff, and they don't.
That's warming. That's heartwarming.
I have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Now, talking about what you're doing, it seems extremely interesting. Have you done anything with TikTok with it? Because in real estate, we started doing some TikTok cross promotions. It doesn't monetize well, but as far as the number of viewers and being able to cross promote to other things, especially with children's things and mental health things, those things go viral like crazy on TikTok. Have you done anything with that?
I am on TikTok, but I think I'm doing it wrong, because the way I was doing it is I was taking clips of the YouTube video and cutting them, so they come out like long ways instead of up and down, so it doesn't look right on the screen. And so now I just post like really weird, dumb stuff. I think what I really have to do is make a new channel and focusing more on this kind of stuff, which I'm gearing to get ready for, hopefully pretty soon to try it out over there, because mostly my stuff is on Facebook and Instagram, to help advertise the YouTube. But the TikTok wasn't working too well, even though I have a good amount of followers. That doesn't really get a lot of views so far.
What do you do for advertising on Facebook and Instagram? Is it organic advertising?
Yeah, so far I haven't paid a single penny for advertising yet. I do probably plan on doing that maybe next quarter. But yeah, everything is just friending new people, talking to them, putting comments on their pages, and then after that, usually they're right back and they start following you. Because I like to say, and I call them friends, because a lot of these people will check up on me. Hey, how are the kids doing? And they're in Australia, they're in England, they're in Japan, and I've never met them, but I'll still say, hey, they're friends. So
Oh, I have a lot of social media people from all over the world that I've never met, and they definitely check up on me a lot more than some of the people here
yeah.
in Long Beach or in California. You okay over there, Howard?
Yes, I am.
Looked
I'm
like you were
great.
ready to do some exercising. I was waiting to see what you were up to.
No, I was just taking it. I wanted to see my shirt. I wanted to see my flag, so I was trying to.
I'm
Howard,
just waiting.
Howard, with the COVID crisis, how has it affected your business as far as people being attracted to creating more financial freedom? Have you find it being a driver or a deterrent to your growth?
It was actually a driver for me building an online course. I started this, 2 years ago, and I was a public speaker before that. And when I put the course together, I'm thinking I'm going to do this in a room. But then COVID hit, and I didn't want to learn how to do Zoom. And then I learned how to do Zoom, and now I love it. The first year, I would have classes, well, just like we have right here, with about 20 people on the screen. And it was fun. And I had to do it every week for an hour. But then it became a job. So I decided to do Evergreen and do it on the course and then allow the people to do Zoom Calendly meetings with me so I can help them. So it's worked out well. So COVID didn't hurt me. And by the way, COVID didn't hurt me playing pickleball either. I mean, I've been playing pickleball all along, and it's been great.
Well,
Are you a pickleball spokesperson, Howard? You keep working that back into the conversation.
No, I love it. I played this morning. I'm telling you, it's so a wonderful way to get exercise. You get cardio, you keep your leg muscles strong, and your racket arms strong.
Everybody I know who plays pickleball loves it. They're all
it's crazy. They're addicted. There's
Yeah.
people that play 7 days a week. It's crazy. But anyway,
I can see
But
that.
I've got to try it. Definitely have to check it
Oh,
out.
you have to, Sharifah. You have to. I'm telling you, it's fun.
I have the list up in a different tab of the 10 places in Long Beach to play pickleball. So I'll go check it out. See if it's some people under 70 that's out there playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people under 70, believe me.
I looked it up.
A
'Cause
lot.
there really is a lot more things I want to do with my kids and my wife because we weren't really exposed to much. When I was younger, I wasn't really exposed to anything, until I became an adult. I'm like, hey, I really can. I can do baseball. I can, go for bike rides and hiking. So now we're starting to finally get out there. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to talk to people, but usually if I'm there, they're okay because I'm okay with going up to people. So if we're like on a team or something, I'd kind of be like the liaison at first until someone is comfortable. But and that's a difficult thing, especially with the kids. They want to have friends, but they also don't want to talk, and so they kind of mess themselves up a little bit in that area. So sometimes they need a little push from me or someone else.
And you have 4 children,
I have 4 kids, yes.
but at least they have each other, right?
Yeah, they get along most of the time too, which is pretty good.
Well, that's good. I don't think any kid, gets along all of the time. Now, I want to ask you, Kahari, how did COVID affect your business?
Oh wow, it's been an interesting ride. When it first started, we had some properties where we made sure we sold immediately. We still did well on them. It was at the beginning of the crisis, and then the market just shot up like crazy. We were like, "Wow, we should have kept those properties longer." So that was pretty crazy. I was really afraid at the beginning that it would affect business negatively, especially because the volume of business has gone down. The market going up and down doesn't affect me as much as less volume, because my agents and my realtors, less volume, the less transactions happen, less mortgages happen, the less houses we get to flip. However, we did very well last year, and I think it's just adapting, hustling. We had to really, really be there for our buyers, do extra service, really stay on their offers, really make sure that they're well pre-approved and condition them for the market, for the bidding wars and things that have been happening. So with the coronavirus, we really had to focus on that. We had to, at the beginning, it took a lot of training for people to be ready for the requirements as far as, having a mask when you're out looking at houses, for homeowners to make sure that their house is inviting to people and that they give people space because of COVID. And now it's second nature to people, which has made it a lot easier than it was initially. So we've gone on a little bit of a roller coaster, but we've come out very, very well, actually, with the whole thing. Everybody knows the market stayed strong if there's, when there is something to happen there. And I don't know, I think I've seen people have a lot more stress from it. I don't know, Mike, have you seen with a lot of your mental health, a lot of people, a lot of stress comments, and I know probably Howard, a lot of people saying, hey, I want to do something different. We've seen that from real estate. A lot of people moving from Long Beach, moving everywhere out to areas and all that. They're moving. They're too expensive. A lot of people think Long Beach, that's an extremely expensive area.
Meanwhile, Long Beach, we will have no Long Beach bashing on this show. I'm telling you.
Long Beach is awesome. I'm not saying that. I'm actually doing a property near you right now in the car.
Okay, we'll come by and say hi. We'll do lunch.
Yeah, definitely.
Kahari, the mortgage part of it was a lot more difficult, and the mortgage company said it's because of COVID. There's extra rules and extra paperwork. The mortgage part was really tough to get, even though we have good credit and stuff. It was kind of painful.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, we had some people lose out on houses in the beginning, where one guy got down to 2 days before closing, and his job furloughed him, and his deal had to get canceled 2 days before buying a house. It was heartbreaking that happened to him. So it has been tough for people on the mortgage side. We've been really fighting for people to actually still close their mortgages, and right now it's leveled out though. It's pretty even. But I don't know, Mike, have you seen something from people's mental health with it?
Oh, it was killing me. The stress, like we're about to close, and like for whatever reason they're like, you have to have a permit for your roof. I go, I never did anything to my roof ever. That's how it was when I bought the house. But you don't have a permit to have the roof. I don't even understand that. So we had to go to town, and the town took forever. It delayed our closing by a week, and then after we closed, I don't remember what happened exactly, but we had to be out of our house. But the closing of the new house that we're moving into was 10 days later, because the people moving out weren't ready. So we had to stay in a hotel for 10 days, which cost us a lot of money for 6 of us to stay in a hotel for those 10 days. But now that we're here, we're never moving. We'll die in this house if we have to.
Yeah. It sounds stressful. He's like, a roof. Doesn't a house have to have a roof? Isn't that one of the necessities?
Yeah.
We didn't have a permit. Well, I'm not the builder. I didn't build it. I didn't build the house.
Well, when things are moving quickly like they are, companies, large companies, governments, a lot of times they'll try to put a lot of things in place to try to slow things down and protect themselves while the dust clears. And I know that people have thoughts both ways on the best way to handle that. But, a lot of companies did decide to clamp down in the lending space when things first started, because they didn't know what was happening. And a lot of those rules were there just to slow things down, not necessarily because of anything else, but to slow things down.
We don't like things slow. We like things to move, especially here in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Howard, the question Kahari asked to you was, what have you seen as far as people's mental health?
As far as what?
The mental health, the stress. Did you see a lot more stress with people that you were working with?
Well, I see stress not because of financial stress. 78% of the people in the country are living paycheck to paycheck, and it's totally unnecessary. They just don't know what to do. So yeah, they're stressed. When I start showing them what they need to do, their first reaction is, I can't afford that. And I show them how they can afford that. And so there's a lot of stress. Just think of it. 78% of the people in our country are living paycheck to paycheck. There's over 15 million millionaire households in the country, and 80% of them got there through a long-term financial plan. And that's what I teach. So those 78% of the people who are stressed out to the max financially, okay, they can become financially free if they start something today. And there's a whole program where you take a little bit here and you put it in here. I help them open up their brokerage account. It goes into index funds that pay 10%. And then it's all automatic and works in the background. And I even show them how to find $200 to $500 a month to put in their plan that they don't even know they have. So yeah, as far as mental stress, there's a lot of it, because financial stress is probably the most difficult, and I would think you guys would agree with that, or at least it's way up there.
I would definitely agree, and I want to talk about that a little bit more, but we do have to stop for a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back.
You need jordansrooter.com. Get free estimates, 24-hour service, special discounts for seniors and veterans. That's jordansrooter.com. Have a home repair or some remodeling you need done? No problem. We can handle all that too. Give us a call today at 800-300-0358. At Jordan's Rooter, we take pride in our work and always make sure to get the job done right the first time. That's jordansrooter.com. We want to be your Mr. Fix-It.
Are you a business owner, CEO, entrepreneur, artist, musician, celebrity, or influencer interested in more exposure for your business? Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today. We handle everything for you. We video interview you, we professionally produce your interview, and we distribute your interview. We do the work so you can focus on putting your best foot forward. If you have been looking for more ways to get your product or service in front of more people, this is the opportunity for you. Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today.
Yes, we are talking about financial freedom, having fun, families, COVID, and so much here on the Roundtable Talk Show. If you have missed any part of the show, you definitely want to start and watch it from the beginning in the archives. I want to go back to something that you were saying prior to the commercial, Howard, and you were talking about financial freedom, financial stress, and the whole time that you're speaking, I'm just spying with my little eye around your background, and the thing that pops out to me is Think and Grow Rich. Was that something you picked up and it was like, wow, I have to do this? Tell us a little bit about your experience with it.
Well, I grew up in a 2-bedroom house with 6 people in Detroit, Michigan. And when I was 3 years old, my dad moved us to the suburbs. And I lived next to a wealthy neighborhood, and that's where all of my friends lived. And I spent most of my time in those wealthy homes on the lake. And one thing that I noticed is all of those people that own those big homes owned their own business. So I knew from a very young age that I wanted to own a business. I went to college, and after college, I got a business degree. I was just a sponge. And I picked up the book, Think and Grow Rich. And this book literally changed my life. It taught me that I could do whatever I wanted to do if I learned how to think, if I learned how to use this mind, and I could do anything I wanted to do. So I read that book 10 times. I outlined the book. I even have in my family, when kids turn 18, I send them a letter, and I'll pay them $500 if they get through that book and give me an outline. Because Think and Grow Rich, the book was first produced in 1937 by a guy named Napoleon Hill. So it's very, what's the word, when at the time where the woman's place was in the home. We know that's not like that now. The women are smarter than most of the men when it comes to business. But it's the concepts that you learned in that book that literally changed my life. So that's the number one thing I tell people they need to do. Go buy the book Think and Grow Rich, and it will just give you the power to think properly. So yeah, Think and Grow Rich was amazing for me.
No, I have something to say about, the Think and Grow Rich. The concept's good too. One of the things I see that I like people to do even more than that, and I see it a lot of times, especially with the COVID crisis, people are trying to figure out, how can I do this? How can I do that? A lot of people come to me about how, real estate, stock investing, all those different things. one of the things I think separates a lot of people is not only think and go rich, but is do and go rich. I see a lot of people who this good fire starter. They think about it, but what I like even more is where Howard's talking about actually going out there and doing something about it. And that's where I see a lot of people failing. A lot of people have asked me, how'd you get started in flipping houses? I went and flipped the house. How did you start? How'd you become a broker right away instead of starting at the bottom? I just became a broker. If I want to invest, I invest. And I'm sure Howard has seen the same thing. People say, how can I do this? How can I do this? You do it. You put the money aside. You go and do it.
You do it and you become the expert at it. And you are an expert at flipping homes. And nobody can tell you any different. You've proven it. But the only way it happened is you thought about it, but then you did it. Yeah, I agree. It's action. The big reason why so many people are broke in our country is they don't take action to change where they're at. People think that they have to save $1 million. They don't have to save $1 million. My dad saved 10% of everything he earned for 35 years in the workplace. He had never made more than $35,000. He's invested about $120,000. Today, he has over $3 million in the market. Why does he have that? Because he just automatically did this. And this was before computers or anything, so he had to actually do it. Today, I teach how to put everything on autopilot. It's so easy to do it, but you just got to do it. You can't be lazy. You've got to take action. So I'm with you all the way there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it that's good about that is to find a way to do it where you can still do what you love to do as well. I hear a lot of people who talk about, growing rich as if rich is the be all end all and that's going to be happiness. It's not the be all end all to happiness or success. A lot of people see me in real estate or different things and they say, or a lot of other experts say like, you need to do this. No, you don't need to do that. There's different ways to do things. We need people to be teachers. We need people to be line chefs. We need all these people and they're all valuable to our society. Now we need to find ways for them to also become financially free, doing the things that are also of value to society. Not everybody's going to do the same thing. I think the way I do it is a wonderful way, but I like the idea of being able to create financial freedom no matter the type of occupation, because it's all valuable. That's what I think too about that.
Right, and that is so important because, most people have jobs. They're not business people. They don't understand that if they just do certain things today, it doesn't even have to be a lot of money, and it's automatic. If that's working in the background, they have normal jobs. They can be multimillionaires 30, 40 years from today because of this thing called compound interest. It's crazy how, when I started this, my first presentation was to 10, 18 to 21-year-olds. And they had never learned about how money grows. They never learned about compound interest. They never learned how money doubles. They all nobody thinks they can be a millionaire because they think they have to save $1 million. They don't. They have to save $100,000 to become a millionaire. And they can do that $50 a month, $100 a month, $10 a month, or whatever. So, anyway.
Go ahead, Mike.
I actually had a question for Howard too, or Kahari. I work a regular day job. I work in computer security. So, actually I do make good money. We follow a plan from Dave Ramsey, which I was curious what your opinion was. So following his plan, we actually paid off 13 out of 14 of our credit cards and loans completely. So now we only own one card, which, doesn't bring us more financial, but we're paying so much out less a month that we could finally breathe. 13 less things we have to pay every single month. That we're still working on the 14th card there, but
that's wonderful.
Just wonder if you had any
by the way, I took his course too, and I took a bunch of courses while I was researching to put my course together. I love Dave Ramsey. He's great for people who have credit card debt. And you're doing amazing, and that's wonderful. That's just fantastic. I don't agree with everything that Dave Ramsey pushes. Dave Ramsey thinks all debt is bad. I don't agree. I own 3 Walgreens and I have a lot of debt, but those 3 Walgreens are cash flowing $25,000 a month. If I didn't have debt on those 3 Walgreens, I wouldn't be making 25 grand a month. Dave Ramsey says all debt is bad. I don't agree with that, but I love him. He's wonderful.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I actually think that his plan is extremely safe plan. I think that's one of the great things is the safety that you will get the results if you follow that plan. There's a lot of other things that aren't as guaranteed as that, and getting out of debt and everything like that. Love it. Yeah, the personality, but I think a lot of different people who are in that space, the personality is a little bit edgy to me. I would say to be safe. But as far as the all debt is bad debt, I agree. That's not necessarily the truth. When you're doing real estate and doing other things, sometimes debt can help you. For instance, also with the COVID crisis, businesses were able to get certain types of loans that were actually forgivable. So that I don't see how that could be bad, where you can get a loan for 2.5% of your payroll and then possibly get it forgiven. And while you're waiting, no interest. And also and if you did pay interest, it's at 2% or something. And then, you prove that it was to your employees and it's forgiven. So, there's all these different things like that I think can be put in there to supercharge your future.
Right. And really quick, Mark, Dave Ramsey also thinks that you should pay your mortgage off. I don't agree. You can get a 2.5-3% mortgage. I would continue to pay that mortgage, and then I would take an extra $100 or $200 a month and put it in index funds, and you'll make average 10%. You'll be way ahead. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and that's something I'll have to talk to you about maybe after the show or by email, because I do have a 401k from my old work with a good amount of money in it, and I have a new one with my new work. So the old one is kind of, I call it like play money. I know it's supposed to be for retirement, but I could put that anywhere into index funds or whatever. So I don't know if I have it in the best place that I should. So we can talk more on that later.
Okay.
Now I know with Mike, you do things with a lot of things with children, correct?
Yes.
Now I know one of the things with children is also financial education, which I know is becoming a bigger thing for people to start younger. My brother, and actually kids have a lot of good input actually on stocks. My brother's son was right on Roblox and AMC, like 10 years old, 8 years old, they know it, and they're getting involved in that. Do you guys do anything with financial education with children or anything like that? Are you seeing parents wanting to have more financial education for their kids younger?
Well, in our own house, we actually had a Dave Ramsey Jr. game and some Dave Ramsey books. And for my son, who's 18, and for my older daughter, who's 14, we had her read the book from Anthony O'Neill about paying for college on your own through scholarships and on your own money instead of getting any loans for that. And we kind of focus on going that way. So it's like, if you need a school loan, it's okay, but we're trying to not have you go that way. But the only education I've done for that was just in this house through other people's books mostly.
Yeah, I would think, Mike, that the kids are still a little too young to really get in. When I first started my program, I thought my target audience was going to be 18 to 21 year olds, because if I can get them to start a plan, then they're multimillionaires. Don't get me wrong. Some of these kids are in the plan, but most of them, they don't care about this right now. So most of my students are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, or late 20s.
Yeah, but I think we also need to start teaching them younger about finances and what finance mean. That's what I just think.
I definitely agree. We definitely have to start teaching children about finances and how it works. Being a minority, there's a lot of predatory things that come out in the finance things as you grow up, and I think it's extremely important for all parents to teach their children about money early and get them interested. They don't go to college, get a bunch of credit card debt from the people putting it out. Having the credit card machine right next to the or not the credit card offers right next to the cafeteria
Oh, they're on
and
campus.
everything. And all
Right,
that.
I was supposed to say the same thing, because that's one of the things that hits them at 18. They go off to college, and there are all these different, like they call them like booths, those booths of rows of booths of people offering you credit cards. You never heard about credit cards, you never heard about debt, and you're like, oh, you're giving me free money, and the people
Right.
offering it don't say no, it's not free money. You have to pay it back with these high interest fees. And so years later, they don't even know how they got into this situation.
You know what I've seen, Sharifah? They sign you up with those booths, like you said, but if you sign up there, you actually get a free large pizza that they have.
Yes,
on that
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what I should have done. I should offer these 18-year-olds free pizza.
That would do it. That'll do it.
But
Pizza gets them every time.
I agree with you 100%, though. I think it should be mandatory that 12th graders be taught this stuff, and it should even be a prerequisite in college, because let's face it, man, it's all about money. And whether you say it is or isn't, you gotta have money to have a halfway decent lifestyle. You have to. I'm not saying you have to have millions and millions and millions, but wouldn't it be nice to have a couple $1 million at age 60?
Yes.
Everybody can do that. They can do it.
By working with Howard. But one of the funniest, it's sad, but it was funny. Someone was sharing a story about learning about finances early. They had a kid who was working with them, and they were paying this kid probably like 18, 19, and 6 months later, they got the job, everything. 6 months later, the kid comes to them and they go, I've been working hard. I've been doing my best. I've been trying, but I just want to know, when am I going to get paid? And so she was like, what do you mean, when are you going to get paid? It's like, but I'm just waiting for payday, and payday never comes. So they're just waiting. And she's like, I don't understand. So what happened was the kid was getting his paycheck on his desk for 6 months. But because it was a check and it was not cash,
Oh, my God.
but this was his paycheck to be paid. And it was like, oh, my God. It's like, just sometimes people don't understand things that we think are so simple because we don't teach financial literacy to our children.
Wow.
That is funny.
And Kahari, another big issue here is you say all parents should teach it. 78% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't know it. So that's where, man, we need a better educational system. Maybe when you become a senator, you could start doing. Aren't you running for Senate or something?
2024. We don't want those children to wait till 2024. It is a part of my focus because these things are important for our young people. I had no idea about financial literacy. I was one of those people in line at college getting these credit cards for pizza or for, I don't even know. I think they were giving us sports bottles. I don't know, whatever it was, but they told me this was free money. And anytime you hear free money, you like, okay, it's free. No strings attached. I don't have to pay it back. I don't have to give it back. I'm going to take it because it's free. So I definitely want to be a part of the change that's being offered to people. But also, I want to talk to people like yourself, Howard, because I want to go back to these 3 Walgreens, right? Because now when I go into the Walgreens, the CVS, the Albertsons, all these different stores, my little nail polish that was $2 is now $29.99. So I'm like, what is going on, Mr. Walgreens? What is going on in these stores?
Well, I don't own the actual store. I own the property, the building. I own the real estate. Okay. Walgreens is a tenant of mine. So I have nothing to do with what they charge. All I know is it's one hell of an investment. I have one in Arlington, one in San Diego, San Antonio, and one in Kansas. And all 3 of them are in the top 8% money earners in the country. So I was very fortunate to be able to get these. And by the way, just to go back a second, I started out broke, just like most people. And the only reason why I was able to buy these is because I started my plan 30 years ago, and then I had money where I could do things, so building wealth allows you to add the real estate. Now, Kahari will say, no, start out with real estate. It doesn't matter how you start, okay? What matters is you start doing something, whether it's real estate. And the reason why I don't teach what Kahari knows, first of all, I don't know it, even though I bet you if I hung out with Kahari for 6 months, I'd be an expert. But, so the point is you've got to start something. My plan is to build wealth so that you don't have to do all the work that Kahari does in flipping homes. My target market is a person who has a full-time job and they're not making enough money. And I want to teach them how, even if they're not making enough money, they can become financial freedom and then have the choices to flip homes later on if they want. Kahari does it differently. Kahari
Not necessarily.
Okay, so
I'll tell you this. So I actually agree with you a little bit more than you would think. I think everybody needs, and that's what I was saying before, everybody is different. Everybody's going to have a different way to get to where they need to go. And they need to find a plan that works with them. That's where I think doing it is. So I think real estate is a great way. There's more millionaires made with real estate than anything. However, that doesn't necessarily be the way you need to get there. And that doesn't necessarily need to be the way that you invest. Some people, it just racks their brains. They never need to do it. They don't need to flip. And I flip more as a system where I have people working and doing things. It's more of a business than a job. So I actually, I had to stop you there because I actually agree with you on the fact that there's different ways to do it. And the most important way is for people to go out there and do something. It doesn't necessarily have to be real estate.
I'm with you all the way.
We're not getting away from these 3 Walgreens though, Howard. I'm not just gonna let you off the hook.
Okay, go ahead.
This is what we're gonna do. You're gonna go to those 3 Walgreens. You're gonna tell the manager, I'm gonna lower the rent if you lower the prices for the people.
Well, but I don't know. But I don't own.
I don't know. I'm just
the business. I own the. They're my tenant. That would be like you renting to a business and then you trying to dictate what they charge.
You know what they're gonna say? You know what they're gonna say, Sharifah? They're gonna say, "You're in Long Beach. Go look at that port and that long line of boats that's sitting out there that can't dock, where we don't have any supply. Help us get those boats here, and we'll get your prices to drop."
We can't get the stuff off the port. We can't get the stuff off the port. Why? Because there's no workers. That's what they keep telling us. That's a whole different show. We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Mike.
Hi. Well, I want pretty much any parent with kids between, say, 3 to 9, just check out our show. Just go to Google, type in Vardalia onions, or you could type in Dogs of Town Hall. It comes up on YouTube search, comes up on Google search. As I said, we're just a family that just trying to spend more time together. Also trying to overcome some of our various mental health issues. We teach things, about, caring for others and sharing. And we're actually working on a full-length musical. It'll be about an hour long with 10 original songs on it that are coming out really cool. We've been working on it for about 6 months. It might be another 6 months before it's done, but a lot of cool things happening with us. For takeaway, and I didn't realize this until COVID because I was working so much. I was working overnight. I was sleeping during the days. I wasn't spending any time with my family until COVID started. So for us, COVID is more of a blessing. I don't really want to say it that way, but if that didn't happen, I'd probably still be, kind of like an absentee father. So if you have the chance now, just spend every moment you can with them.
It's a blessing in every curse. So when you say original songs, are these created originally from your family, or are you bringing them in from other people?
Oh no, I'm writing them. I play piano on a few other instruments, and keyboards and drums, and we're creating all this, full length.
You're creating generational wealth.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing, creating generational wealth. Thanks, Mike. Howard, what do you have for the people?
Oh, basically, I've said it a couple times. Most of the people listening to this, you're not alone. 78% of us are living paycheck to paycheck in this country. There's 15 million millionaires in the United States, a little over 50 million millionaire household. 80% of them did not inherit one nickel. They worked regular jobs, some of them, and they just had a plan for financial freedom. So what you need to do is go to howarddeckers.com. That's Howard, Dekkers, and get more information. I've put a course together. I'll hold your hand. It's only $97. It will be the best $97 you ever spent or invested. And just all I got to say is this is the real deal. I'm with you all the way. And follow my lead, and I will show you how to one day become financially free. So howarddeckers.com.
I love it. Thank you, Howard. Kahari, what do you have for the people?
Well, thanks for having me on, Sharifah, first. It was an enjoyable time being here with everybody. Now, I'd like people to know that if you do need real estate help, especially in the Southern California area, please contact our team. Our website is 1stur.com. That stands for First United Realty. That's the number 1stur.com. We're able to help you buy, sell, and finance real estate. And we'd love to be of service. We're very aggressive. My whole team is very aggressive in looking out for our clients. So that's one of the things I'd like for people to remember there. Another thing is I'd like people to just be optimistic that they can make changes in their lives, that they can do the things that will help them, whether it is in finance, whether it is in real estate, and come out of these hard times better than where they were.
Thank you, Kahari. Thank you. I want to thank you all for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who was watching it from the archives. I definitely appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. I definitely appreciate you sharing. But the most important thing to me is that you support our guests. You visit their websites, follow their strategies, work with them, learn from them, because they are here this morning to support you, to give you all of their wisdom. And I think we got a lot of wisdom and life lessons today. So please support them, follow them on social media, reach out to them, send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifah Hardie says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the next episode of the Roundtable Talk Show, visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.